Now we have audio.
Well, you know, it's been like a year since I lost my cat, and I just miss my cat so much. And I've had a lot of cats, and they've all been great. I'm sure everyone's pets are. And I just,
What was the
miss my
kitty's
cat.
name?
Socks, not Red Sox.
Not Bill Clinton socks.
No. But
What kind of kitty?
I don't know. He was just a mixed breed, and it's a smaller cat. I'd come home. Every time I'd come home, he would like run to the door and greet me, and I would, you get little tennis, little golf balls, little wiffle balls, and you throw it down the hall, and he'd run after it and come and bring it back to me, and we just interact a lot, So it was like probably my best friend. Which is sad, perhaps. But I love the kitties. All animals, I think, is very special.
So this is 2 days after Peter Noone's birthday, Guy Fawkes Day.
Oh,
Is this
is Guy Fawkes Day?
No, November 5th. Peter Noone's birthday.
Okay, Herman's.
Yes. So I guess it's the Peter Noone birthday concert tonight.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
I don't know.
Oh, good. Well, if I had known, I would have learned
Henry VIII?
Henry VIII. That's what Mrs. Brown.
He does a punk version now of Henry VIII. It's awesome.
I bet he's still really good.
Incredible, yeah. And we got Mickey Bliss is behind you.
Oh,
You know Mickey Bliss? You don't have to.
You got him on.
I'm Mickey Bliss on Visual Radio.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you've been on Visual Radio before.
Yes, I have.
You could say this is Mickey Bliss on Visual Radio.
This is Mickey Bliss on Visual Radio.
So your 45 is re-released?
Yes, sir.
On vinyl or CD?
On vinyl.
Oh, vinyl.
On vinyl. Final vinyl.
Is it on colored vinyl or black vinyl?
Black vinyl.
Very good.
Yes, sir. So they sell all like hotcakes.
Is it the same label?
Yes, sir. Hitman Records.
Hitman Records, which is like 20, 25, 30 years old?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay,
82, however long that is.
82, okay, 27.
81, 82.
Very good, sir.
Yeah. You helped me get started, Joe, so thank you very much. Now I got to get back to work.
The man works very hard.
I used to book him in my club.
Really?
Yeah, the Cantones, from the Cantones to the Cantab.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
Yep, so I can put this down. Oh yeah, the battery's full. You've never been back here, have you, Ian Lloyd?
No, I have not. It's very scary back here.
This is Mickey's dungeon. Would you like a seat? This is great. This is like an old-time
I like it.
rock club from like 1968.
Very cryptic.
Well, Ian Lloyd, what do you think of Cambridge?
It's beautiful. A beautiful town. I especially love the police.
I was going to ask you that. Let's start, like Yoko Ono says, let's start at the start. So this evening, you met the constable.
Yes, I did. Very nice man. Very nice. He was apologetic, and I'm here to speak out loud. So.
You do realize you were parked in front of an old police station?
I do now. Yes.
The king of Eau de Po in front of the police station. I love it.
It's like becomes such a natural and harmless act that you kind of forget that it's illegal, especially when people are smoking cancer sticks out there, that kind of stuff. I mean, if you got to smoke, don't smoke cigarettes. That's my advice.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So, okay, I don't want to go there too far, but we're going to go there. I heard that because marijuana does not have a filter,
okay,
it's like taking a match to an elastic band, and that's, if your vocal cords are the elastic band, the match to the elastic band is what marijuana does to your voice.
Well, that may be true, but I feel that I sing better today than I've ever sung, and a lot of that has to do with, working with John Anderson from Yes and Foreigner, just because I pick up ideas and chops and stuff. But I have to say I've been smoking for about 40 years daily, and I'm stronger vocally than ever. So I don't cough. I have to say that the fellow who searched me, had a really bad cough. So I don't know what he's smoking, but he was like, man, are you okay? Do you need a cough drop?
He had kennel cough from the tack dogs. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Allergic to dogs. All right, I'll buy that.
So you were outside with a young band. We won't say their name, I guess.
Well,
Since they were popped by the constable.
Yeah, I mean the constable was cool, and he thought we were doing a drug deal or something, and after he realized that all we had was like a joint or a roach, that we weren't dealing, so he was very nice and let us go. Told us never to smoke pot in Boston again. So I guess we can't come to Boston anymore, but we're going to be in Boston soon. Ian Lloyd and Stories, or Ian Lloyd Stories.
This is a cool angle, so I'm going to talk to you, and then I'm going to get a little microphone out there. So while you're telling a stories.
Okay.
What I'd like to do is this album is Eau de Po. See, that's my hand, and that's the album, Eau de Po. And as you know, Ian, I do a thing on the magazine, and now on the show. You're the first guest to do this, going track by track on digital radio.
Sure. Okay, fine.
The first track, is that an intro?
It's an intro track. It's something that I actually, back in the mid-'70s, I was walking around a swamp with an old, one of the first early Sony stereo recorders, portable, and just, recorded a bunch of frogs and crickets and stuff, and I'm fond of frogs, I guess. I didn't realize that, but the usage of it, I kind of had this picture, because, Eau de Po is the eau de cologne of marijuana kind of thing. I kind of had this vision of asteroid, just of swamp and green growing plants, etc., and aliens coming to harvest the Po crop.
Oh, so that's why James Cameron got the idea for Avatar.
Well, maybe. I haven't seen Avatar yet, but it looks like it's really good. I've seen coming attractions.
You should use the soundtrack right there.
Is that what it's about?
Well, no. He creates a world. He creates a green world or some kind of fascinating world, and they spent $300 million on this movie.
Wow. Yeah.
And the 3D effects are supposed to be totally.
It's animated or.
No, I think it's his usual like Terminator.
Oh, really?
Remember the Abyss?
Sure.
And he had that thing that he used in Terminator 2, that watery thing.
Yeah.
That he used for the Terminator as well. And,
great special effects. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's taken that to the next level. I'm not sure, but it certainly is an exciting.
It's a great concept. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's created another world that's going to be totally mind blowing, and it's in 3D, but 3D like you've never seen real life 3D. And Michael Jackson was doing 3D on his tour.
Right, I heard that. Yeah.
In the movie, This Is It. You will see this 3D world they created, and it's pretty. I mean, that tour had everything. Yeah. I'm not telling you too much about it because I want you to see it, and then I want to talk to you about it.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine if being at a concert and having 3D happening off the stage or a screen behind the stage or whatever he was doing. That was
screen behind the stage and then the live
exciting,
action.
Yeah.
And then he had an old 40s movie with the 40 stars, and he was like the gangster in it.
Yeah.
Great
well,
stuff.
he did. That was one of his hits. I think had him in the gangster.
Smooth Criminal.
Of course, Smooth Criminal.
Yeah, and it might have morphed into that 40s movie. It's great.
Yeah. A real giant talent. Someone to start that young, that great, and to reach where he reached, and it's just amazing to think what else he would have done.
It's amazing to be $300 million in debt or whatever it was, and get $100 million to do a tour.
Yeah. How does that work? How does that work?
How do we get $300 million in debt? So people. Jimmy Miller, the late Jimmy Miller, always said to me, Joe, record deal, get as much as you can from them, then we're on the hook, and they'll spend more to recoup the money.
Yeah.
He was right.
Yeah. Definitely.
You get a singles deal, they don't want to know you.
Yeah. They have to invest, and then now they've invested, they don't want to lose their investment, so unless it's a tax write-off, totally. But
well, there was a big investment in Brother Louie. They kind of knew from the Hot Chocolate that they had a hit, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Who brought the hot chocolate tune to you guys?
Yeah, it was actually a man by the name of Bob Reno. He was Buddha Records A&R guy, you know, and he played me a bunch of songs, and Brother Louie was one of them, and I heard it through the first chorus and said, this is a hit. This is a hit. This is the one I want to do. Because we were trying to get one more song, you know, that we could, you know, milk, you know, get AM radio play, back when there was AM radio play.
I'll have you know, in Kenmore Square, there was a little store called New England Music City. Mm-hmm. And there was a About Us album.
Right.
And it didn't have Brother Louie on it. But I bought it.
Are you angry?
No. I was thrilled to actually be one of the first to buy About, you know.
It's funny.
Was it the About Us album that had Brother Louie?
Well, it's About Us album that didn't have Brother Louie and then did have Brother Louie.
Right, so I bought it first without it.
We had recorded the album and pressed the album and had the first pressing sent out, and we still hadn't added Brother Louie. That was kind of like, guys, you know, we really need to have a hit on this album, you know. And so they added it, and it became a hit, and all the subsequent all the pressings actually includes the hit Brother Louie. And of course, as you know, the very first printings, which was, I don't know what they printed, but it was a substantial amount, did not have it, even though it had the sticker.
Well, you know what they did with the sticker? They put the single inside the album.
No.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think I think I bought it without the single, and I think they put the single in the album, if I'm not correct.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't. It's the first time I've heard that, but it's possible. I do know that I got so much flack from people who bought the album and the Brother Louie wasn't on it. I said, well, like, first of all, it's a collector's item, just because in some way it's a collector's item. And I actually started carrying Brother Louie 45s with me, and people would come backstage because we were a very hands-on band. You know, we loved to mingle with the fans. And people would come backstage, and as soon as they start talking about, you know, my album, I'd pull it out, and I'd autograph the single for them and say, here, man, I'm sorry, you know, it's the record company, it's not me, man. But kind of interesting, you know. But true, you know, I did do that. Yeah.
Before I bought it, I, of course, saw you at the Stone Phoenix Coffee House.
Right.
Boylston Street. Great little room, we're one flight down, it was two flights down.
It was two flights down.
Jonathan Richman played there with a postmodern Modern Lovers. You guys played there, and those are two memories I have really fun.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy performing. It's pretty much my whole life I've been performing. So.
And then after About Us came out, you played what was called the Boston Club up. It's now the Paradise Theater.
Oh, really?
But the Paradise Theater, the stage is. When you walk in, it's to the left, but it used to be where the soundboard is now to the right.
Okay.
And when you played there, it was Tom Rush. I saw Tom Rush there. I saw you there. It was the Boston Club.
It was a big club.
Yeah. And Stories was there.
I also remember playing at Katie's.
Yes, I didn't see you there, but that was a big venue.
That was
now the Gap.
It's now the Gap. You mean like the clothes, the Gap?
You remember the Katie's gig, huh?
Yeah, I do. I think possibly because I remember the promo for it. You know, I got all that memorabilia at home, and that was one of the things that Katie's had the About Us silhouette thing on it. You know,
yeah, that was the Downstairs Club, the Kenmore Club. That was the Kenmore Club upstairs, and downstairs was Katie's, and in the back there was a third club. And the 2 doors away is where I bought the album. New England Music City was 2 doors away from Katie's. Steam, Na Na Hey Hey played a whole...
Na Na Na. Okay.
They did a whole week there. New York Dolls played there.
Oh. The Dolls were great. Yeah.
March 1st, 73. It was like being in an airplane hangar. They were
really
so loud. Steve Tyler was in the back. He wasn't famous yet. He was watching them.
Oh, really? But Stories actually played with Aerosmith a few shows when, I think, probably around the Dream On time, which was more the original Aerosmith stuff before they. I think we're going to be on next.
Oh. Then I won't
Social
forget
hero.
the microphone. So we covered the first track, and we covered Brother Louie a bit. What about Wonderful World?
Wonderful World. It's just kind of what I feel it should be, and probably isn't, but in a way, when you have that magic moment with someone you meet or share something special with, it becomes, for a short time, or if you're lucky, a long time, a wonderful world in that relationship. But it's kind of tongue-in-cheek about how it could be a wonderful world, should be a wonderful world, but we can make it for ourselves personally, because of the nature of things that exist today.
Now, the album was in limbo for a long while.
Yeah, we actually recorded it in the late, it was right around the World Trade thing. It was pretty much just about done when that happened, and my co-producer Tony Sankitz, brilliant guy, passed away, and it got lost in the legal family thing, and so I actually decided that I'm going to put this out the way it was done, even though I wanted to update the sounds, because 5-6 years, a lot of electronic stuff, sounds had gotten better, and I wanted to update them, but couldn't do it, and so I just kind of did the best I could and put it together the way it exists today. And I'm very excited about it, and I feel that there's really nothing like it out there. It's a bunch of styles meshed together. There's a little U2, obviously a lot of Ian Lloyd. There's some Yes and Foreigner influences, because I do all the vocal work on it, as well as lead and backgrounds.
What did you do with John Anderson?
Yes Union. I was hired to help John out, because I can do John pretty well, and background vocals and some of the more textured stuff, so he could be free to do other things. And I was actually hired to do ABWH. It was to be their next album, and then the reason they called it Yes Union was because the two factions, the John Anderson and the Trevor Rabin factions, one was on Arista and the other was on Atlantic Records, through a big negotiation, a lot of legalities and stuff, Arista eventually got both factions to be Yes, and they took what we were doing for ABWH and combined it with the tracks that Trevor and Chris Squire were doing for Atlantic, and made it the one CD and called it Union, because it was actually the reunion of both camps. So because Yes kind of became two camps. There was two Yeses actually.
Wow.
Atlantic owned the name Yes. I hear A Wonderful World. Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps.
I wonder how that happened.
I don't know. They must know I'm back here in the dungeon.
I think the guy from Newbury, PA was here too.
Oh. Sounds damn good out there. It could be.
So you still get a thrill hearing the music played through different speakers.
It's great. We're all artists and musicians and creative, and it's always nice to hear your music, I remember the first time I heard Brother Louie before it broke out big time. We were, I think it was in Nashville airport, driving to our hotels, and it came on the radio, and they announced it. And now the most requested song of the week, Brother Louie by Stories, boom, and we're all looking at each other going, wow, this is crazy, because, we didn't know what was to come, We hope, but, everybody hopes.
Now, what do you think when you hear your song coming through the walls, so you've never heard it in this context?
This is great, because I can hear all the people in there, and I know they're digging it, whether they know they're digging it or not, because it's a good song.
But sonically, isn't it interesting to hear a different speaker system and
Definitely. I know I tell people that if you listen to this whole CD, and I have to say, there's 10 tracks on it, but there's bonus tracks and a secret track that So it says 12, so there's 13. But if you have to buy the hard copy to get all of them. If you want
It's
just
not on
the
the
top
download,
10,
yeah.
you know, fine. You can download Brother Louie or Wonderful World, but you can't get the other stuff, which if you listen to this thing all the way through loud under headphones, you'll hurt your hearing. But you'll also get high. It definitely has a kind of ethereal thing happening. I mean, the first time I listened to the complete package under headphone, it was like, wow. You know, by the time the secret track got finished, I felt woozy. You know, like, ooh.
And you know what else?
You know,
The mix is fantastic because
that's all Tony Sankitz. Yeah, he's great.
you can hear all the back here,
Yeah.
far away from the speakers.
Yeah.
We can hear every distinctly,
It's all, yeah, you definitely can hear all the levels.
which you don't hear on a lot of stuff you're hearing today.
Well, you know, there's a lot of that, you know, a lot of over volume or pushing the volume for a lot of the stuff, which sonically kind of collapses the sound a little bit, you know. But Tony was just a great ear, and I just, you know, wish I had the opportunity to do another CD with him.
I like rich production like this.
Yeah,
It's important to me. The stuff for the buds,
yeah,
it's just
Great.
too thin.
yeah. I agree.
And even when you hear the adult contemporary radio of today, even the stuff of Celine Dion's okay, her production work, but or whoever's producing for her, but other records for the middle of the road artists today still sound compressed and thin.
Well, I think they are. I think that's kind of what they do, and a lot of it has to do with MP3s.
Yeah.
You know, just not being as fat as a regular wave file. You know.
But I'm talking about
kinda
the
weird.
stuff getting played on the 50,000 watt stations.
Yeah.
It's just
You would think.
Brother Louie sounds better than a lot of the contemporary records, even though they have better equipment allegedly.
Right. Right.
And all these
It's
tracks,
crazy, huh?
yeah, they don't have the precision of Gimme Shelter.
Yeah.
Or you can't always get what you want. Where
Yeah.
Jimmy had the 8-track.
Have you heard the? I have not heard the new Beatle remastered stuff. I'm curious how that, because that's kind of like trying to get the sound to be bigger and more like it was, I guess.
Are you asking my opinion?
Yeah, I just
You'll
wondered.
get it.
I haven't heard it.
My opinion, and Rob Fraboni, who's a mastering engineer as well as a producer, I think he concurs with this. The earlier stuff sounds excellent. Please Please Me
Right,
jumps
right.
out of the speakers, but Hey Jude suffers.
Really?
And I told him, I called up Rob, I said, man, you know, they really need your real feel on this because the cymbal is too dominant in the Hey Jude, and it wrecks, for me, the experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that was...
It's covering up some of the good things you want to hear, or you know you.
well, they're enhancing everything, but those tracks weren't recorded well.
Yeah.
Remember, they were bouncing and bouncing.
Right. Right.
And then you can hear more of the problems of bouncing comes out, and this heavy cymbal in Hey Jude just really kind of like, man, Please Please Me's older and sounds better.
Yeah. But how about Paul McCartney? Isn't he great the way he keeps going? I mean, I love the Fireman CD. I don't know if you've listened to that much, but
Is that
boy,
the Starbucks? He did one on Starbucks.
No, that's the. Well, I don't know if it was. It was. There was a Starbucks one, which was like Memories or something, and then there was the Fireman thing. So unless he had two out with Starbucks, it's probably not the Starbucks. I know the Starbucks thing was, which actually was a good album too. In the Backyard, Memory in the Back, something about the Backyard. Or,
I love Paul, but you know, for me, I go back to Ram and Uncle Albert, Alma Halsey, and
yeah, there are a lot of some great solo stuff.
well, you know, you can do a fun thing. We do it on Gemzine, Ian. You can go on Gemzine and have some fun with it. White Album Volume 2. We take the Beatles solo tracks that should have been... Because, you know, the White Album was really a solo record of, like, solo things.
Right, and they've just brought it all together.
But it was a Beatles record. It's a great Beatles record. Because it were Beatles songs by the Beatles, but they weren't going off on tangents. The way Paul does, and George did.
Sure.
You find the tracks that are very Beatlesque. All Things Must Pass, of course, the Beatles recorded. So that's a perfect one to put on it.
Great, yeah.
Uncle Albert, Maybe I'm Amazed. These are perfect Beatles songs.
Yeah. It's interesting. You know, I've often had an idea of doing an album of all the Beatles songs that the Beatles never recorded. You know, I think there was a bunch of Peter and Gordon songs.
It
that-
Ain't Easy, Three Dog Night.
Yeah.
No, not It Ain't.
Well, no, that was Ringo.
It's For You.
I don't remember the title, but
It's For You.
there was a bunch of different,
Yeah.
bunch of different things.
It Ain't Easy was Three Dog Night doing Ron Davies, not Ray Davies, Ron Davies. It Don't Come Easy was Ringo. But
Yes.
It's For You was John and Paul writing for, and then Cilla Black.
Please lock me away and don't forget the day here inside. Right, you know this? I'm bad with lyrics.
World Without
in
Love.
my loneliness, I don't know where I'd be in a world without love. What a great song. And it's so Beatley, but I'm sure they must have recorded demos of it as the Beatles. I don't know, but I've never heard them, you know. But there's a bunch of other, you know, artists that around that Apple Records time, that I think I'm going to have to go in.
All right, this
I
has
hear
been a
the
fun
drums
interview.
getting-
And you'll be back on Visual Radio.
Oh,
You've been visualized tonight.
Of course, thank you.
November 7th, 2009.
And don't forget, I'm playing the Cantab here in Boston on December 5th, Saturday, December 5th. We're going to do stuff from Eau de Po, In the Land of, and a bunch of hits from Stories.
With what band?
Ian Lloyd's Stories. I can't say and stories, but Ian Lloyd's Stories. I have stories to tell, and I will be telling them here in Boston.
Alrighty, and Lloyd, I'm going to shoot a little bit of Social Hero.
Great, enjoy
All right.
it. They're a great band.
All right, thank you, man.
This is for you.